Hey, this is Brian. We've been saving things for the Pickled Punks podcast. Like we're all, as human beings, we're all aware that our lifespans are limited.
This is true,
and that affects, it causes anxiety, but it also has other effects. And in this movie, you would literally have, like, we don't know when we're going to die, but in this movie, you would have an actual second by second indicator. I just wonder how you think that would impact your anxiety level. Like, would you be in the movie when somebody ticked down to like his mom had like an hour and a half left when she tried to get on the bus? She was just like, it's an inconvenience. So I mean, there doesn't seem to be a lot of anxiety around low levels in your little ARM account.
I think that's what like Justin Timberlake's whole character was based on, is that he's like kind of this gambling guy. Like, I know that the truth of how you really react comes out when you have seconds left, right? Like, that's what he could like still react and be himself when he had no time, and it didn't produce this high level anxiety to the point that it paralyzed him.
Yeah, there was a scene where Justin Timberlake and his girlfriend show up, and they go to the guy's house that he gave a decade of time to, the guy from Roseanne. And sorry, I just remember I didn't write down the names.
Oh, Borel, I think was his name. Yeah.
And then they realize they only have like an hour and maybe like a minute and a half, and she starts freaking out, and he's like, act like you have all the time in the world or something like that. So he's been
yeah.
I guess he's just been conditioned to be comfortable with the idea that you just have low amounts of time. And so maybe the same thing was with I'm sure that the mother was probably concerned about it, but she's been there many a time. So
many a time?
Yes, it's another pun.
Yeah, I would be paralyzed all day long, just like, and then just dead. Because I'd be like, how am I going to get the next minute? Like, I wouldn't be able to live in the moment. I'd always be like trying to get another amount of time.
It'd certainly motivate you to do your best at work, because if you got fired, you
don't have time to look for another job.
Well, how about this, Brian and Brad, you guys?
That's us.
The other idea is that like there's someone who's loaning out time and to gain interest on the time. So now you have, let's say, for instance, 10 years on your arm, and you're like, you know what, I could gamble with this and I could invest it and maybe get some return on this 10 years. But what if like you end up screwing it up and you lose half your time and now you only have 5 years left?
Yeah.
So it's like there's a gamble in that as well. And the idea that you could technically live forever, then they would, I feel like at no real point would you be completely comfortable with the time that you have, unless you're like the richest dude on the planet.
Not to resurrect my earlier criticism, but that's another. If you think of the stock market today, like if I invest in a company, time itself is a function of that growth of money. Like if the company does well and returns my loan in 5 years at a certain rate, that's how the free market works. How do you invest time itself?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like you can live off your investment if it's money, right? Like you just keep getting return.
Well, they were doing that in the movie. So like they were at the bank loan, they were loaning out the timeshare place. They were loaning out time to the poor at a rate in which they couldn't return it. So they said 30%. So for every hour, you had to pay back an hour plus 30%. So that's how you would basically make money off of your time, is by giving it to people who have to repay you for it. Which is sort of what people do with money as well.